Hey guys, welcome to the Business Block. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about some resources that's going to help you develop your personal skills and your business, so stay tuned. All right, so thank you guys for checking out the Business Block on the Wrenched Out Experiment. If you guys have any questions, comments, or would like to get a hold of us, make sure and check the links below. As always, swing by our website, the www.wrenchedoutexperiment.com. So today we're going to talk about resources, and I'm not talking about financial or any of that stuff. I mean, obviously, if you have a small business, at some point you're going to go into those financial questions and you're going to dive knee deep into what it is you need. But today, really what I'm focusing on and what I'm talking about are resources that help you continue doing what you're doing. I know through my venture so far, I have a business partner and I use him as a resource. So let's start with that. So with any small business or anything new that you're starting, you're going to run into some times where you're either stressed out, you don't understand a problem, you're not sure which way to approach something, or you just have a question and you're not real sure, or, and probably the most important thing that we like to ask for, which is why we start off with asking to stop by our website, is maybe you have some questions, or maybe you want someone to look at something that you're doing so you can get someone else's perspective on it. So, business partner, I'll call my business partner on occasion, just running stuff by him, and then we'll go back and forth. We'll talk about each other's businesses and then this joint effort that we have right now. So it's kind of a nice deal. We've also got future plans and future joint efforts that we're going to dive into. So we go into some pretty dramatic detail at times, and it really helps even if I don't side with what he says or he doesn't side with what I say or anything in between. We both had the opportunity to kind of talk out some of the important facets of what we're diving into. So another thing, if you don't have a business partner, that's okay. Do you have friends or family? Do you know someone in the industry that you're pursuing or you're a part of as far as a small business goes? Or maybe it's one of those great questions that you want to ask someone that isn't a part of the business and get a perspective that isn't influenced by whatever it is you're selling. Or, you know, if you're in automotive, maybe you'll ask a friend that owns a barber shop and say, hey, what do you think about this, to get someone else's perspective. Sometimes, whether you're working at a current job and you're working for someone and you're working on projects or you're working on something, it's still worth it, whether you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, or you're just looking to better yourself and you have some questions. I always find it extremely useful, and it kind of gets that monkey off your back, lack of better terms, as far as understanding in which direction to go. So make sure and branch out. So now I'm going to go into another area that I think is underutilized, and what we're trying to capitalize on. If you saw the last video where we're talking about building that business community, and a part of that is to reach out to some of these other businesses and just ask them. You know, you got to be upfront with them for the most part, and let them know that, hey, I'm not interested in selling you something, because some of these places and people often get people corresponding through social media and other aspects, trying to either sell them a service that they don't need or sell them a product that they don't need. So you got to be selective. But here's a couple of tips in regard to that. You know, if there's a local business or non-local, you know, start following them on social media. You know, I follow a lot of different companies. Inc.'s one, a lot of other big guys. Mark Cuban's throws out some great high-level advice. I always think of those guys that run these billion-dollar companies. They've got more of that big, grand focus, which is good in some regard, but not always applicable to a smaller business or an entrepreneur, or maybe you're a partner to another business and you're wanting to reach out but you're unsure. So I would definitely check out all the social medias, whichever you're familiar with, whether it's Facebook or if it's Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever it is, and start kind of seeing what these other guys are doing. There's a lot of great a lot of great business owners and businesses out there that do put out a lot of good information. Also, check your competition, see what they're doing. If you have questions and you need some help, go that route. Now, as far as stress and being depressed and all of that comes with being an entrepreneur. If it doesn't come, then more than likely you're doing something wrong. I know through building the business that we're building right now, the early days, and even still to this day, as we've developed a lot of social media stuff, you're not getting that million likes. You're not getting 100,000 followers, none of that stuff. So do you pay for it? In some regard, you will always pay for it, but it's okay. You have to believe in whatever it is you're creating. Get the input from those around you and those that understand what it is you're trying to accomplish. Don't feed to the people that are around you or that you have ease of access to that are completely irrelevant to not only your goals, but the business that you're trying to drive. I know that I have people that I talk to on occasion that I bring it up just because they ask about it, and then we have a conversation. Then afterward, it's like they missed the mark. And it's not that I want them to understand necessarily what I'm explaining to them to my degree, but I would like a perspective that is within the same realm of what I'm driving to. So be very specific when you're talking to people. Even if you are stressed, reach out to a family member or somebody else. But let's keep going to resources. Some other resources. So obviously we just talked about social media and talked about, hey, follow some of these other guys. You can ask questions, comment on their posts if it's Facebook. I've had multiple replies from some local or larger celebrity style entrepreneurs and business owners that I was surprised, and I was almost overwhelmed that, damn, this guy got a hold of me and responded, which is cool. But take what they're saying in some regard and make it your own, especially if you're trying to grow or move forward. So let me get focused back a little bit on the resources at hand. I know I got off on a tangent a little bit there. So some of the resources that I use and I like to use almost on a daily is I listen to a lot of podcasts. Now I'm going to give you 2 podcasts that I listen to every week, and I don't necessarily agree with all of the content or agree with some of the things that are said, but that's not the point. The point is that both of these guys really go over the top on getting me excited and really pushing me to do a video like this video or half of the stuff that I've done, just because they light that fire and then they keep it going every single time I hear them talk. And that's Gary V or Gary Vaynerchuk. He's got, I think, 4 books out now. I've read most of his books. I just got his newest book, or actually got his 3rd book that I'm diving into. His new book, Ask Gary V. Yeah, another great book. You can get it on Amazon. I'll put some links to this stuff in the description below. But Gary V, he's on all of the social media networks. It's Gary Vaynerchuk. He also owns a large media company and a lot of other stuff, but he tells a lot of the truth gospel, I guess is one way to put it. He's very clear, and he does use profanity just in case you are sensitive to that, but he does a fantastic job on motivating. Another guy that I listen to, which is similar to Gary V, but not, and that's Andy Frisella, who does a fantastic job. He does the MF CEO project. So between both of those guys, they're dumping content every week. And if it gets you inspired, to me, if I get inspired, I always hold myself accountable. Okay, now I've listened to it. Now the fire's burning. Now I'm going to go after it and get going. Or maybe I was pissed off or frustrated or stressed and I needed some guidance. And even though what they say or what they're going over may not pertain to my exact circumstances, that's okay, because it gives me, I guess, a tool or a building block to be able to kind of grow to that next level and say, you know what, this guy's right. Now I can go ask this other guy a better question, or I can understand this one part better. So now I'm ready to move forward. So that's the MF CEO project. Andy Frisella. He's one of the owners of First Form, and he's got all kinds of stuff going on as well. I'll put the link to his down below. They've also got, Tony Robbins, another fantastic motivational seller. And I'm not here to sell you on this stuff. I'm just trying to give you some outside resources, maybe some information that you've never heard of, or these guys, maybe you haven't heard of them, that inspire me and kind of keep that torch going on this entrepreneur small business adventure that we're on and that we're going to stay on. And I will say that both of those guys, my hat's off to them, because I know that they motivate myself and probably millions combined of individuals, whether they have a small business or not, just as a normal person, just because they're out there talking the good talk and saying, you know what, hard work is what drives this stuff, consistency and a lot of other things. I'm not going to go and try to paraphrase either one of them, but those are some other resources. Another one that is utilized is YouTube, man. Use YouTube. Now, YouTube I have used for many years. Obviously, we're putting up content now, but keep in mind with YouTube or any of these other ones, don't always search for a direct answer. Maybe you have to search for a part, and you got to step back and say, I need help with understanding X, or I need help because of Y. Well, that's okay. Ask part of the question, or ask the whole question and take part of the answer, because as you build and as you grow and as you meet people and as you grow your business and your interactions and those communications and everything, you're never going to get 100% answer from anyone, and nor should you. I don't believe that in any circumstance should someone say, okay, here is Anthony, here is how you're going to fix every one of your problems. Life doesn't work that way, neither does business. Now, obviously, if you've got someone in a similar business or has been in business for a long time, they're going to tell you some keys to success, but you still have to, I guess, collect your own interpretation, because your circumstances and your business's circumstances vary from anything that anyone will say or from what you're taught, because the variables are what make you the winner or the loser at the end of the day. It also helps you grow and understand things better. So a couple of resources, and I'll run back through them. Obviously, it's the podcast, the social media networks. And another thing is, hey, crack some books. Go on to Amazon.com and start looking at some of the, some entrepreneur books. I'll put some links to the books that I've read and that have kind of helped me. Now, that's my perspective of it. Obviously, there's a lot of fantastic authors out there if you're into reading. There's also blogs and vlogs and this and that from guys that have done just so much great stuff. But you got to find what helps you focus and what helps you reduce that stress and to gain clarity, because what is your goal and how are you going to get there? Everything in between. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to talk about resources today, is because you may have this goal this year and next year and you have all these goals set out there, but if you're not out actively trying to accomplish them, then that's bad on you and no one else. So seek resources. You need these things. And you may think, well, no, my business is doing great. I don't need this. I don't need that. Well, it may be time that you kind of open up your mind and start listening and start hearing and start seeing what other people are doing, because in business, in life, you have to chase whatever it is you're going after. You can't follow. You have to act. You got to get up. You got to run. You got to get moving. You got to keep moving. And it does require other people. Now, when you're growing and you're doing these things, you're going to hit choke points. You always will, no matter what. I was listening, and I will talk briefly about the MF CEO project. Andy Frisella did a fantastic job, and I really appreciate him kind of stepping back and talking about, how he's scared every day because he's got to make this, he has to do it, and how he doesn't want to go backwards. And that's the cognitive unease. That's that thing that should always be inside of you, no matter what you're doing, whether you're a new business, whether you're a professional athlete, whether I'm making this YouTube video right now, is, are people going to watch this? Do people care about a single thing I'm saying, or am I wasting my time? That's that unease. Did I get prepared enough? Why am I talking about this? Why am I sharing resources? All of those things that kind of run through your mind on a day-to-day, that's that unease that's healthy for you, because you got to answer those questions. You got to move forward, and you really do need to seek people to help you and guide you when needed. There's nothing wrong with that, and there never will be. I don't care who you are or how big of business you are. You're full of crap if you think that you got there by yourself. So reach out and, start communicating. Hey, if you have questions for us, I'm more than happy to answer them. You can hit us up on any one of our social media pages. And if we can help you in any which way, as far as guide you toward other resources, let us know. And check out our stuff as well. We want feedback. I'm not asking you guys to buy anything. In fact, I don't want you to. I want you to tell us, hey, do you understand what we're trying to do? And in return, you send us a link to your page. We're more than happy to stop by there and check out yours and give you some honest feedback as well, because we're in this business together. It's a business-to-business world now, and digital marketing is continuing to grow. That's a part of our business. But we want to know what you guys are and how you're getting there. What kind of resources are you utilizing? Is it podcasts? Is it hard books? Is it YouTube? Is it social media? Maybe it's a mentor. Maybe you've got a friend, a grandfather, a brother, an uncle, a cousin that's in the business, that's influencing you and helping you move. So comment below, let us know. It's an interesting topic, and we're going to continue moving forward. I'm trying to get the business block up and going, so that's why you guys see us talking in the little home office here. You got some of our early photos up above me, which is cool. And we're continuing to kind of reach out there and understand the market for us as well. We will continue to utilize resources, and we're always open to more. So if you guys, like I said, have a link, or someone else, or a different way, let us know. Get a hold of us, admin@redstartexperiment.com. That's the email. WOEEST 2016. We're all over social media, so check us out there as well. As always, thanks for tuning into the Business Block this week, and we'll see you guys on the next video.